Poker is a game where in one moment you could be on top of the world, and the next moment you could be in the gutter. And if you ask any professional poker player, they'll tell you they've been on both sides of that coin. So let's get into the dirty side of poker and check out 9 players who unfortunately lost everything. But before we do, please make sure to subscribe to Poker Boom if you haven't yet. And let us know in the comments which of the following players we should make a full video on. Alright, here we go. In the number 9 slot, we've got Eric Lindgren. Lindgren was part of the elite Full Tilt pros and a major figure in poker during its boom. He saw his career spiral out of control, not because of poker losses, but due to an addiction to sports betting. At the height of his fame, Lindgren was a star both on the felt and in the boardroom, with a thriving poker career and a lucrative sponsorship. But by 2012, Lindgren's secret debts came to light, including a staggering $12 million due to his heavy involvement in high-stakes fantasy sports leagues and sports betting. Despite filing for bankruptcy, Lindgren's financial ruin remains one of poker's most notable cautionary tales, showing that even those at the top can be undone by temptations outside of the game. We actually did a whole video all around the downfall of Eric Lindgren, so if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. At number 8, we've got Archie Carras. Carras is a legendary figure in the world of gambling, a man who at one point held $40 million in winnings, only to walk away with absolutely nothing.
Watching this man, Archie Carras. Carras is a legendary Vegas poker player and gambler who once ran his bankroll up to $40 million in just 3 years.
His story begins humbly, arriving in Las Vegas with just $50 in his pocket. Borrowing $10,000 from a friend, he managed to parlay that loan into $30,000 and then into tens of millions over a few short years. He dominated poker tables, winning against the best players for the highest stakes. However, once poker action dried up, his need for thrill drove him to risk his fortune on games of chance like Baccarat and craps, games where skill takes a back seat to just pure luck. It was there that in the span of just 2 nights he lost $30 million, ending the quote-unquote run that had made him a legend. Carras is remembered not just for his extraordinary success, but also for how fleeting that success can be in the high-stakes world of poker. Coming in at number 7, let's move on to David Chino Ream. Ream is another player who built a desirable career only to struggle with addiction and financial ruin. He won over $11 million in tournament poker, capturing several WPT titles and the inaugural Epic Poker League event. But despite his success, Ream's addiction to gambling and other vices, coupled with poor financial decisions, led him to financial ruin multiple times. Although still active in the poker world, it's unclear if Ream is playing to pay off those debts. His story is one of unfulfilled potential and a dangerous reminder that poker success, no matter how grand, can be fleeting when compounded by self-destructive behavior. Number 6 is someone everyone knew would be on this list, and that's Stu Ungar. One of the most gifted poker players of all time, unfortunately met a very tragic end. Known as the Kid, Ungar possessed an uncanny memory and a sharp intuition that gave him a tremendous advantage at the poker table. He burst onto the scene in 1980, winning the World Series of Poker main event and eventually raking in over $30 million in his career. But Ungar's personal demons, his drug addiction, and his compulsive gambling overshadowed his brilliance, and despite a brief resurgence when he won the WSOP main event again in 1997, Ungar's lifestyle consumed him.
You know, what I do is only bad to myself. I'm very good to other people, you know what I mean?
He died penniless in a cheap motel room in 1998, a victim of his own excess. And if you want to check out the full story of Stu Ungar, you can check it out in the video in the description below. Moving on to number 5, we have Gavin Griffin. His story provides yet another warning to young poker players. Griffin was a rising star in the early 2000s, winning the WSOP and becoming the youngest bracelet holder at the time. His talent led to even greater heights when he became the first player to win the prestigious Triple Crown in 2011. Despite the success, however, Griffin succumbed to the pitfalls of gambling addiction, wasting away his winnings on games of chance. Unlike some of the others on this list though, Griffin has been open about his struggles, speaking out about how addiction led him to the brink. And what's a list about a rise and a fall without the one and only Scotty Wynn at number 4? The self-proclaimed Prince of Poker is as famous for his personality as he is for his poker talent.
Yeah, this guy right here thinking horseshoe still sticking his I wonder if a horseshoe stuck in your butt is something you can look up on WebMD.
When it gets down to you and me, I don't need a horseshoe to beat you. It's going to be easy. It's going to be easy.
Only.
Despite winning millions in poker tournaments, including a WSOP championship, Wynn admitted in 2014 that much of his fortune had been squandered on drugs, on women, and on gambling. His candid admission shows the seductive allure of luxury that poker can bring, but also how dangerous it can be to indulge too deeply. Wynn has since recovered financially and continues to play, but his ups and his downs prove that even poker royalty can lose everything if they aren't careful. Someone you might not have figured would be on this list is in the number 3 slot here, and that's Tom Dwan. Dwan is widely known for his rapid rise in the online poker world, and he's a legend who embodies both triumph and caution. He amassed millions in online poker as a teenager, consistently outperforming the best players in the world. However, reports surfaced throughout the years that he had gone broke on several occasions, largely due to the volatile nature of high-stakes online games. But today, Dwan is far from broke, playing some of the highest-stakes cash games in the world, and even recently winning over $3 million in a single pot on Hustler Casino Live. Alright, top 2 time. We're at Gus Hansen or the Great Dane. A well-respected live poker champion, also happens to be one of the most infamous losers in online poker history. Hansen's aggressive playing style earned him millions in live tournaments and in cash games, but it also contributed to his massive online poker losses, totaling over $20 million. Despite these setbacks, Hansen remains a feared player in high-stakes live games. His story shows that being a great live player doesn't necessarily translate to online success, and even the best can lose big when the stakes are too high. And finally, in the top slot, this list wouldn't be complete without Victor Blom, known online as Isildur1. Blom burst onto the poker scene in 2009, taking on the best players in the world in high-stakes online games. He built his bankroll from nothing, winning millions, but he also lost it just as quickly, most notably losing $4.2 million to Brian Hastings in a single session.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Blom's tale of rapid ascent and decline underscores the perils of playing beyond one's means and underestimating the competition. And there's so much more to this story, so this is the last plug, I promise, but go check out the full video on everything Victor Blom in the description. And look, at the end of the day, poker, with all of its potential for fame, for fortune, is a dangerous game, not just because of the stakes on the table, but also because of the personal demons it can expose. Whether due to addiction, to greed, or the inability to walk away, these players' lives demonstrate the razor-thin line between glory and disaster.
Nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I was just happy to have a chance. That's all we can do as poker players, get down there and have a chance to win. So I was okay if I lost.
Poker will always remain a game of skill and psychology, but for those who can't manage the game outside the cards, it's a reminder that winning isn't everything, and sometimes it's just the beginning of the end. And that's all we have for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and make sure to come back every single Monday at 10 a.m. PST for new Poker Boom videos. We'll see you in the next one.